Welcome to episode 79 of Shane Talks. It is, man, it's the fall. I'm getting ready to start watching a bunch of horror movies where European football is going right now. Hockey season's about to start, but we are 3 weeks into the NFL season. We're like 4 or 5 weeks into college football season, so it is college or it's like football overload right now. So we've never done a football episode. So with fantasy football going on right now, with all the football going on, I was just like, I want to do football. And who do I want to talk about football with? The greatest co-host in the history of podcasting, Mr. Jason L. Mayer, is here. And I recruited two football stars from the Lawrence Central Bears. Mr. Mark Buckwalter is back for another episode. And Lee Vidal is joining us all the way from Colorado. Thank you very much for my starting lineup today. How are we doing, boys?
Good. Thanks for having me, man.
I was gonna say, don't everybody talk at once. Like, let's.
I was waiting.
And Shade, we forgot to mention the Pike Red Devil.
I was about to say, you got to throw in Pike.
Buckwalter.
All right, so Mark, since I don't completely know
That's
this, were you at LC first and then transferred to Pike, or did you go from Pike to LC? I guess I don't know your history.
Yeah, Lawrence Central for 2 years and then Pike 2 years.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
it was Lawrence first. Yeah.
Okay, so see, that's what I care about, man. You went to the same height. We all went to LC at least at the same time for a point. So I care about introducing you as an LC Bear instead of a Red Devil, because I mean, was Pike's team better than us? Was Pike's team better than us?
And on to the next subject.
All right, cool. Well, before we get into the show, Jason, I want you to talk about something real quick because you and I have a connection with a friend who's got something pretty awesome going on in his brother's life right now. So can you talk about that a little bit? I want to throw some shout outs to Mr. Owens and his brother.
Yeah. So John Owens, who's been a friend of the show and been on here a few times, he I've known Shane and I have known him since 9th grade, and so it's been a long time. But so his younger brother Ephraim was just on The Voice last night, and he got the 4-chair magical turn. And then he chose Mr. John Legend as his coach. So it's pretty cool and exciting. He was in the choir I was in after I was in it. He was the worship leader at our church for a while. He's been him and his family have been trying to keep this under wraps as much as possible for the last few months while they've been going through everything and waiting for this to air. But yeah, it's really cool to see the Owens family. It's the second time that they've been represented on The Voice. Their other brother David was on it 4 years ago, I believe, and so it's just been kind of cool, and it's a lot of fun, and we've been trying to like every single post that's on Facebook or on Instagram or anything like that, just to try and get as much as exposure for him as possible. He's a great dude, and I had a lot of fun. He used to be on the setup team as well as the worship team, and so him and I got closer, like a little bit closer over the couple of years. But I've known him since he was like 7, 8, or 9, something like that. So I've known him for quite a while. So.
Yeah, I watched The Voice last night. Never watched the show before, so it was kind of cool. I texted John during the show because when they did the little bit about Ephraim, there was photos of John Owens in some of the family shots and stuff that they had. So I texted John and I was like, "Hey, look who's getting some screen time on NBC tonight." But it was just kind of cool to see that, and I mean, having gone to church with you before and seen him like lead worship, it was cool to I don't know him as well as you do, but it was very cool to see somebody that I've been in the same room with, up there on The Voice. So that was pretty awesome. And obviously, like you said, John's been on the show. We love him. He's been a great friend since high school. So really cool and happy and excited for his family to have so much success. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get into episode number 79. Go ahead. Yeah. What's up, Lee?
So John, absolutely one of the best singers himself. And I've said it for years. Why isn't that dude on this show when me and the family watch that show all the time? So John, if you're watching, you should go on The Voice too. I miss that dude. That dude, I remember him back in school, and we might have sung a couple songs together, and he made me sound good. So I appreciate that.
Oh, and I just
Kind
I just
of
remember
like
there's. Go ahead. What's up, Jason?
I was gonna say he's kind of like a quarterback, right? Like if he's doing good,
Yeah.
he raises everybody else up. I will totally
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
perform with John quite a few times myself. So yeah, it's definitely something that he's definitely got a great voice. And if I remember correctly, I think that they all tried out a few years ago trying to do it together. I don't know if John and then they chose David when that happened. And I
Oh, is
don't
that right?
yeah, and I don't know what the entire process was for Ephraim this time, but yeah, I know that John and his other brother Judah also tried out for it 4 years ago or 5 years ago, whenever that was for when David was on the show. So
Well, and
Well, John is an amazing singer too.
right before we move on, I just want to bring up the fact that both John Owens and Lee are amazing dancers who had a dance scene together in this little independent film
Oh,
called Consternate that they were both in at the same time.
by the way,
yeah.
you can see that I've dusted the rim.
Oh, yes, you have.
I am drinking your Shipyard Pumpkin head this evening. So because you're on the show, I decided to drink your beer that you got me into.
I love that beer. That's
Yep.
good. What's the dusting on it? What is it?
The cinnamon sugar like they do at all the bars out in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Awesome.
yep. So
Love it.
I just went and bought a 6-pack, and I don't know how much longer I'll be buying 6-packs of that beer because a 6-pack was like $16, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? So
Word.
it's good beer, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you can. All right, so let's move on. Phase number 1 of Shane Talks is always called Coming Attractions, where we talk about things that are coming out that we are excited for. Mr. Vidal, being the first timer, why don't you tell us what your coming attraction is?
Oh, so Halloween coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been rumors of it coming. I still am not going to believe it till I see it come out, but I'm still excited for it. So I really hope it happens. But Beetlejuice 2, I
Oh,
absolutely cannot wait for that movie to come out with all these like movie like just like Top Gun and all these other movies like coming out with like actual sequels 30
mm-hmm.
years down the road. I think Beetlejuice is going to be great.
I have high hopes for it too. I'm excited for that. Mr. Buckwalter, what's your coming attraction, sir?
He stole mine because I was going to say Beetlejuice.
Really? All
Oh
right.
no, nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. 2 votes for
I don't know if
Beetlejuice.
I mean, Beetlejuice. Hey, Twisters.
Oh,
They're going to be
no.
seeing that.
No, not excited about that
But
at all.
that's in a bad way. I'm looking
No.
forward to it.
Yeah, not excited about that at all. Mr. Mayor, what's your coming attraction, good sir?
I'm a kid at heart, and one of the trailers that just dropped is a trailer for the movie Wish, which is the new Disney film that's coming out in November. It looks like it's a cutesy kids movie. The trailer just came out yesterday or today or something, and I just saw it today, so it's kind of fresh in my brain. So looking forward to that. So,
Nice.
and then
Very cool.
Sunday, I've already talked about it previously, but this Sunday I get to take my daughter to go see Wicked in Louisville. So I'm super excited about having the ability, or I guess today, October 1st, I'm taking my daughter to see Wicked down in Louisville. So
That'll be
super
awesome.
excited about that. Show her that's such a great show. So
Is it just you two, or is the whole family going?
no, it's me, Letha, and Sarah. So
Cool. Nice, very cool. All right,
Awesome.
so I texted you this trailer not too long ago. My coming attraction that I'm excited about is for a horror comedy called Totally Killer. It's a horror comedy time travel movie. I got a lot of like Happy Death Day vibes with it. Like it has like horror slasher elements to it, but it also has a bunch of comedy elements to it. And then you throw in the fact that this girl gets thrown back in time to hang out with her mother, a la Back to the Future style, when her mom was in high school in the 80s. So like it's literally got everything that I want in life. You've got the 80s, you've got horror slashers, you got comedies. Like, throw it all together. Like, I'm super stoked for this movie. It just looks like a lot of fun to me. So yeah, so I'm really excited for that movie. As soon as I saw the trailer, I had to send it to Jason. It's only an Amazon movie, it looks like. It doesn't look like it's getting a theatrical release. I know Jason's comment back to me was, I hope it gets a theatrical release, but I don't see it getting one. So, but I'm still excited. The day that it comes out, I will be watching it. Every October, I try to watch one horror movie a day if I can. So I think it comes out like October 7th or 9th or something like that. Whatever day it comes out, that will be the horror movie that I watch that day, and I'm super stoked about it. All right. Second phase of Shane Talks is always called My First Time. We talk about something that you have just recently watched for the first time. It doesn't have to be new. It could be something that's 30 years old, but you just have to have recently watched it for the first time so that it's got a fresh new impression on your brain. Mr. Vidal, what have you seen recently that you want to talk about?
Oh man. Uh, so I work at the fire station.
Mm-hmm.
So at Firehouse, we like to kind of keep it light and watched a couple movies actually. So I might give you a twofer here,
Yeah, go for it.
but uh, I had never seen 21 Jump Street,
Okay.
and that movie blew me away. I did not think I was going to laugh as hard as I did at that remake.
You?
And Dirty Grandpa with Robert De Niro.
Oh, I mean, that one, I remember that one being okay. Definitely 21 Jump Street's the better of those two.
In that environment with that group of dudes, it was perfect. So
Nice.
we laughed way harder than we should have probably. So yeah, that's first for me though. It was great.
Yeah,
I always like, whenever you're watching a movie, I do it all the time of looking at it and I'm like, who's that in my life? Who's that in my life? And I'm like,
Uh,
that's totally me and Joe.
yes, yes, I love it.
All right, Mr.
So
Buckwalter, what have you seen recently, good sir?
Uh, I actually, well, you guys aren't going to probably agree with me. Well, you probably, it's not a bad show, but I was just disappointed was the new Justified
Oh,
show.
I
Yeah,
wasn't disappointed with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I got one more episode left
Okay.
to watch, but
If it hasn't gotten you by now, I
the
don't think
show's
the
not
last
bad.
episode's gonna save it.
No, the show's not bad. That ain't Railing Givens.
Hmm.
They no, it's like a watered down neutered. In the love interest, when I was like, he's not gonna give her. Really? Like, dude,
I
you
will say
got
that was kind of
hot women.
interesting.
I was like, no. Like, so yeah, I'm really disappointed.
I will,
Okay.
for
But
I'm
somebody
real disappointed.
for somebody who was tagging all that hot ass in that first series, man, like
Dude, there's no way. No way.
it was a little bit of a hard shift. I didn't love it by any stretch of the imagination. I respect that he's tried. Like, I don't know, it seems like he's kind of dialed back himself just because of how old
Well,
and everything
that's
else,
yeah.
and not in that environment of he needs to smack his dick on the table every time kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like he literally is like, I'm just here because I have to be. I'm not trying to really solve this, because he definitely would have done things a little bit differently if he could have. I'll agree with you. It left something to be desired for me, even after the end of the end of the arc. Um, After you're done with it, I'd love to talk to you more about it, but I don't want to.
yeah,
There's some things I want to say, but I don't want to ruin the last episode.
One or two more. How many episodes were there?
Where did the balloons come from? What is
Watch this.
How, what is I didn't know that Zoom did these things.
It's magic.
It doesn't do it for me.
No, yeah.
Okay, that's awkward.
Has on. It definitely has.
But that was my thumbnail, dude. Right?
I mean, weird. Oh, cool. So balloons and thumbs up for Mark. Awesome.
I don't know where the balloons came from.
Yeah, that was really
That's
weird.
great.
But yeah, I agree. I would like to talk to Mark when things are over because there's stuff that I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
say
I
that I
got
don't want to
one.
ruin I don't want to ruin the finale. But word.
How many episodes were there? Like 8?
I think it's
8
eight,
or
10. I can't remember off the
10,
top of my
10?
head.
Or, okay,
something
okay,
like that.
okay.
Mr. Mayor, what have you seen recently, good sir?
So a couple of weekends ago, I did something really stupid. I
No.
saw this. I saw this drink that from an online person who does like all sorts of different recipes, but he had an alcoholic beverage that he made, and I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. It was oh my good, pina colada sangria is what the name of it is, and it's you take half a bottle or you take a bottle of
Malibu.
you take a bottle of Malibu, the coconut rum. You take a bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Grigio.
Sure, we'll go with that. You throw some cherries in it. You throw frozen pineapple in it. You throw pineapple juice into it, and it's amazing. It tastes like fruit punch. And Jason overdid it on that Friday night. And I haven't been that sick from a hangover and alcohol poisoning in probably almost 20 years. So I spent all of Saturday in bed. I watched a lot of Ted Lasso because I could pass in and out and not have it really affect anything because I've seen the show. But I also put on, for the first time ever, everybody kept telling me about it. Now, he also directed Varsity Blues right behind Shane. And Billy Bob is in this movie. And I welcome to Good Burger.
Oh.
May I Good Burger for the first time, and it is so stupid, obviously made for somebody who's a teenager, like in that 10-year-old range pretty much. Carmen Electra's in it and is like obviously in her 30s and hitting on a teenage kid. Like, it's very weird. um, there's a whole lot of weirdness in that movie, but overall so silly and so stupid. Everybody told me about it for years and years, and I just never found the time to watch it. But when I was recuperating, I definitely found the time. It was silly, stupid, kind of fun, but it's not something I probably ever need to watch again. So, and Mark,
good.
So 8 episodes of Justified, City Primeval.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Good Burger is fun, and I think if you had watched it back in the '90s, you'd have a little bit more like nostalgia for it. I think you would have liked it when you were younger and would have had the nostalgia for it now. My buddy Garrett actually just recently showed it to his whole family because none of his wife and his kids had never seen it. Him and his kids busted up laughing through the whole thing, and when I talked to his wife about it, she was like, "That was the dumbest movie I've ever watched." I did not understand why they were laughing at everything, but both of his kids loved that movie to death when he showed it to them. So it's definitely like young humor, but I mean, I haven't watched it in probably 10 or 15 years, so I should probably go back and see if I still like if it has that nostalgia for me, but like I remember enjoying the movie a lot.
I'll probably watch it again with my boys. Maybe I'll wait until Dave and his kids are around because I know Dave loves that movie, so that we can enjoy it with a whole lot of laughter in the house. So
yeah, you guys should have a good time when you watch it with some kids. So my first time, like, it's not a great movie that I'm going to be able to recommend, but it's not like terrible. It's a movie that I've been thinking about ever since I watched it, but I'm not really going to tell anybody else to watch it. It's this Hulu movie called No One Will Save You. And I had seen a couple of things online saying that it was like really good and really scary and really like terrifying.
Yeah.
What's that?
I've heard of this. I've heard of this.
Yeah. So it's written and directed by the guy that did the Babysitter movies that I know Jason likes also, and I like the Babysitter movies. I think they're a lot of fun. About halfway through this movie, I realized that there's been no dialogue whatsoever. And then once I realized that, I don't think there's any real dialogue in this entire film. I don't think there's like other than like so it's an alien movie. it's kind of like A Quiet Place meets Home Alone, that then in the third act takes like a weird David Lynch turn that I don't really think I understand. But like it's got some really good tense moments. But overall, it's literally just this girl trying to run away from aliens that are essentially trying to break into her house that you never really understand why, but then they're also not breaking into her house because like she leaves the house. But then like there's scenes where there should be dialogue and you don't understand why there's not. Like at one point she's on a bus and some weird shit starts happening on the bus, and the bus driver like realizes shit's going on and just slams on the brakes, but never is like, hey, what's going on the bus? Like literally just slams on the brakes, and then like it cuts to her running out of the bus. Like it's one of those things that like in 1999 it would have had like a Dimension Films budget. It was apparently produced by 20th Century Fox according to the opening credits. But like it felt like it should have been a low budget movie. Like it felt like it should have been like a Dimension Films movie from 20 years ago. But it's blah. Like it's not bad. Like I've seen way worse than this movie. And like as somebody who used to do independent art movie stuff, like I was trying to look for positives in this movie, and it's very blah. It's very. I unfortunately can't really recommend it. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen, but also like I need to go online and find somebody who understands what happens in the end, because I don't know what the purpose and point of this movie is and why they ended it the way they did. Like very, very bizarre. So yeah, there's my don't really worry about watching it this month movie. I'm glad I didn't
I'm
waste
gonna
another
watch 22 Jump Street.
I remember it being about as stupid as the first one.
End
Oh,
credit.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
The end credits of 22 Jump Street are really
yeah, okay, those are good.
Perfect.
so. I think that's
Perfect.
my favorite part of the whole movie. The first one, yeah, you're good.
So normally at this point we would cut the Troy's halftime talk, but I'm taking a page out of Jason's book because there's no way we're actually at the halftime point of our show anymore. We're going to go ahead and do part 3 before we cut to Troy and I talking. So part 3 of Shane Talks is called Mount Rushmore. Every month I pick something for our guests to pick their 4 favorites of something. And so this month being October, and I promised Jason that I wouldn't do an entire episode about horror movies and slasher stuff. So we're doing our football movie, or our football movie episode. But I got to sneak in a little bit of horror in here. So I want to know your Mount Rushmore of horror movies. If you could only watch 4 horror movies for the rest of your life, what 4 horror movies would you watch? Starting with you, Mr. Vidal.
Wow. So some of this is like because I could go with some of the older movies,
Mm-hmm.
and that like yeah, putting it to that's the only 4 that I could watch. I don't know because I've been going back with my daughter now, and we've been watching all of the old like by like decade,
Oh,
trying to go back and watch some of the old horror movies. And by far and away, like we watched Scream was the first one we watched. I got
nice.
to put that on there. More so, I mean, just the movie alone, the shock of it, and watching it for the first time in the theater just kind of blew me away.
Absolutely.
But also the experience, just like sharing it with her, has been kind of cool, different experience, and she's
I'm
loving
jealous
it.
of you for getting to do that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, and we love Halloween is my favorite holiday. So Jason, come on, you should do a horror movie show, please. I'm trying
Yes.
to get Shane's back there.
I appreciate that.
All right.
We've done it before. We've done very horror
I
centric
know.
Halloween episodes.
I know. I know. So being in Colorado, I've got to
Mm-hmm.
throw The Shining in there.
Ooh, I
Stanley's
like that.
out here.
Yep.
Yeah, got to throw The Shining. The nostalgia part of it. Yes. Jack Nicholson is great, obviously. Um, yeah, I think you guys mentioned it earlier. This is kind of weird one to throw on the Mount Rushmore, but every time I've watched it, I've been entertained by it.
Mm-hmm.
The Babysitter,
Oh, yep. That was fun.
100%. Dude, I loved that movie. I did not think anything of that movie was going to be entertaining, and it was just one of those that just blew me away. Like I've watched it, me and Layla have watched that thing probably 15 times, and it's fun every time.
Yeah,
So
that
with
was a
that,
COVID movie for me. I literally was just like, "What's on Netflix to watch? Oh, what is this babysitter? Oh,
right?
Samara Weaving's in it. I'll watch that." And then I
Yeah,
expected nothing, and I was very very
right?
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, thought it was great, man. And then Blair Witch, I like
Ooh.
clear, distinct, like the chills that I get. Remember watching it at Clearwater. Um, wait, that at your old theater, Jason, right?
Castleton Arts.
Yeah, Castleton Arts. Sorry,
Yeah. Yep.
not
Yep.
Clearwater. Yeah, yeah. I remember watching it there, and I remember coming out of there, and you guys had tied some of the, like the stick figures and shit from that. Like, just creepy. That theater was creepy. So I just that one's up there for me for sure.
That's awesome. Well, that is a great Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore right there. I would watch all four of those and be extremely happy. Mr.
heck yeah.
Buckwalter, your horror film Mount Rushmore, my friend.
Is it your favorites, or are we talking like impactful, like
No, no,
horror films
your
that like?
favorites. It's your Mount
Oh
Rushmore. Like I
shit!
said, if you
Well,
could only watch these four, these are what you would want to watch.
okay. I love bad horror films.
Okay.
Right. I love this. I love the cheesiness and all that. But I'm gonna go big, impactful ones that
You
I
go with
put up
whatever
there.
you want to watch.
So I'll put The Exorcist.
That's a great one.
That's on
Yeah,
there. I think that impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho,
Oh, that's a very good one as well.
yeah.
of course. My favorite movie, Jaws.
Oh, yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then I got to go with Lee. And then this one, I had two of them. I was going back and forth, and I was going between Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then Blair Witch. But I'm gonna put the Blair Witch because I think
Okay.
that
Yes.
even though it wasn't the first found footage, there was a movie before that.
There was a movie before it called The Last Broadcast in 1997.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. And I really enjoyed that movie also. I know about that because Zach
Don't
showed it
forget
to me
my
when we
buddy.
were working. Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Whoa. Ooh.
So I might sound bad. Like, what's the last? What's the last broadcast? What's that?
The Last Broadcast is about like a guy that was making a horror movie out in the woods or something, and then ended up it becomes a found footage movie also.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that
Yeah, I'm not. I'd be surprised if it's available anywhere, but I'll try and find it and let you know if it is.
for sure.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, what would your Mount Rushmore of horror movies be? I know horror is not your favorite genre.
Dane, I'm flipping this. You go first.
Oh,
We
you want
keep
me to
going
go
in
first?
Oh, whoa.
Ooh,
your
well, that's good because I was afraid one of mine was going to get stolen by you. One of mine's already been. What is going on with Mark tonight?
It's amazing.
It's a
Yeah.
fiesta.
something special. Sure.
Yeah. So cool. I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go. I've got my four right here ready for us. Number four is a movie that all four of us are in. One of the greatest horror films of all time. This is Jason and I's first horror movie that we ever made. This is Consternate, the 2000 film by Gemini Films, Guam Guys Productions. Mr. Lee Vidal is in this. He has one of the most gruesome leg-breaking scenes ever. Mark was our killer. Spoilers for a 23-year-old movie. And then Mr. Mayor was in the movie also. But my number four on my Mount Rushmore is Consternate. I absolutely love this horror film. Number three, I thought was going to be super controversial. I thought everybody was going to be like, Shane, that's the dumbest thing to put on your list. But since two other people have already mentioned the Blair Witch, apparently it's not
Yeah.
as controversial as I thought. And it is because watching it, as Lee said, at Castleton Arts, and the fact that Jason and I got to see it 2 months before the public did, like we had no idea what we were in for. That 10 people that we watched it with, like we've talked about it before on the podcast, that it was one of the creepiest experiences I've ever had in a theater. And I love what that movie did for me. My number two on my Mount Rushmore would be the classic Halloween. Michael Myers. As a kid, this is kind of what got me into slasher movies. I absolutely love this one, but the number one movie, the one that hits me, is Scream. There is not any better horror movie. I was age appropriate. It called back to Halloween, but it was my generation. So as opposed to being, a kid looking back on a movie from 78, I was now a 16-year-old kid in 96 watching a movie that was specifically written for my generation, my demographic. Like, this is my all-time favorite, greatest horror movie that I have ever seen, and nothing will ever top the original. I know Mark and I have texted a lot about whether the first one or the second one is better. I still stick by the first one. The second one is a great sequel. It is an amazing movie on its own, but it is not better than the first one. Would you just grab, Mark? Would you? Oh, yes, man. I know. And again, Scream 2 is a great movie. But yeah. So that is my Mount Rushmore, Mr. Mayor. Now, what is? Did I steal something from you?
Well, it stinks, right? Because like here we are, we're all in the same age bracket. We're all within a couple of years of each other. And what comes to my brain is by far, I'm not going to put them in any special order, but Scream is there. There's no question, no doubt. Shane, you just harped on it. All of the great things for it for us. That opening sequence alone, especially who we were at the time when that movie came out and who Drew Barrymore was in that movie for us at that you just weren't, you're not ready. So I'm gonna say that's definitely up there. One that really creeped me the hell out, and it's more new, and I didn't dig the sequel nearly as much as the first, is the latest version of It. Like,
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
creepy, made my skin crawl, like feeling like there was somebody like messing with the hairs on my neck kind of stuff. That movie just totally freaked me out. I loved it. Absolutely. I used to be huge into horror growing up. We've said it on the podcast multiple times. My parents didn't care what I watched. So I grew up on Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. And then, you got to throw in another one in my top 4, Candyman.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
that it's another one where like it hit me right at the right time, freaked me the out when I was probably, I think it was 12, 11, 12, 13, somewhat like that when that came out. And then I hate it because you're making me limit to 4. My other one has to be Halloween, and it's just because but the more I think about it, man, like I love that movie, but it's not that scary. And maybe it's because I know it so well back and forwards now. But if I had, my top 4 it has to be in there. So
I like it.
definitely.
I mean, like, we can throw honorable mentions out because I've got, like, I love Urban Legend. I know a lot of people don't. I Know What You Did Last Summer, like Disturbing Behavior, like all those movies in the late 90s that we were age appropriate for when, like, Scream created that craze. We did the whole podcast about the Scream effect and all the movies that followed Scream and whatnot. But, like, I'm a fan of almost all of those. Like, they're a lot of fun. What are some of your other honorable mentions?
Like Blair Witch is definitely way high on that list. And if we were doing 5, it's probably 5th. And just because, and then I'd have to go to like the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, sure.
Just because of the Freddy effect, if you want to go that route. And
Johnny Depp, scariest theme song.
Mm-hmm.
that whole movie just creeps you out, like just weirds you out. And then as far as other things go, I love Happy Death Day. Like
Oh yeah.
that movie,
Oh yeah.
that movie is so fan. So it's because Mark has something turned on.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, it's an option that says recognize hand.
I don't know. I just plug in and play.
Mark,
I will say,
Lee, tell me some of the other ones you've been showing your daughter. I'm interested to hear some of the other things you're sharing with your daughter. Like that's one of the things that I have yet to
I don't
get to
know.
experience is sharing horror movies with a young person. So, like, what else have you been sharing with them?
Yeah. So, I don't know, parenting wise, hopefully I'm doing the right thing, but
Absolutely, you
it
are.
is fun. It is entertaining. But it absolutely is it has been a fun one for us to watch together and just be creeped out together. I'm with you on that, Jason. But Saw, that's one
Oh,
where we went back and then watched, and that one was that one was interesting to see how it kind of creeped her out. And I remember feeling that way when I watched it the first time. It was pretty wild.
sure. I still say I really like the first. I mean, I've watched all the Saw movies. I'm excited for Saw X this weekend. I'm gonna go check it out. But like the first
Yeah,
three
yeah,
are legit solid. Like I think they are. I think they are a
yeah.
really good trilogy of storytelling in the way that they tie all three of the movies together. Um, but yeah, so when you said Scream earlier, have you shown your daughter all six of them?
No.
No. Okay.
So funny thing on that is so she, her. If you were picking like scary movie characters,
Mm-hmm.
she is absolutely Pennywise and Ghostface, but she
Okay.
won't go past Scream One because she likes it so much. She doesn't want to ruin it for herself. Her words. So, got it. I guess I am doing right by parenting. She's loving it. So,
Sure. Well, tell her this. Tell her I say that the second one is worth her time. She can stop after that, but I think the second one is a solid sequel.
I'll
Yeah.
let her know. I'll text you. I'll text you and let you know, man.
Cool. I just remember when Joe brought his daughter to Saw or to Scream Six, and I was just like, what, "You're bringing a child to a horror movie in the theater?" And I was like, "Well, I guess that's cool now."
Let's do it. Let's do it. I remember working at the theater and the parents bringing their kids dressed up as Chucky. You remember that, Jay? I
Uh,
was like, that is weird and creepy and cool, I guess.
yeah,
Would have been that
we
would have been for Bride of Chucky.
yeah, that
Uh,
had a
yeah.
check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shane, remember when we went to Horror Hound, the
Uh huh.
convention?
Yeah. Oh
Remember?
yeah. Yeah. Mark and I
Remember there
just
was a
went
guy
about a
dressed up
month
as
ago to Horror Hound. Like
yeah, but
3 day or a week after I had a heart attack. Mark and I went to Horror Hound
yeah.
together.
I remember we were there and that guy was dressed up as Freddy,
Mm-hmm. That was
and he was
awesome.
Freddy with the TV,
Freddy with the
like
TV.
when he
Yep.
came out the TV and all that.
Yep.
And dude, he walks up to these kids. Remember the kid with the
Yep.
family?
Yep.
And he said the line, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," to the kids. And remember me and Shane were like, "What the?" And the
Dude, and
parents
like,
were like, "Yeah." Like,
yeah.
I was gonna
Yep.
say, what the parents do, they're probably into it.
Oh, they
oh,
were. They were
they're
all into it. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, Horror Hound was awesome to see like how many parents had kids there. Like there were kids there begging to take photos with the guys that were like cosplaying as like the serial killers and like the Freddy killer and stuff like that. Like it was kind of crazy to see. Like I'm not used to that. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
Heck yeah.
it was kind of fun. I mean, but
Yeah. That was a
I
good
was
time. I'm
enjoying
very
it.
I'm very glad you convinced me to still go. So I had a really good time. Didn't
And
last as long as I would have liked to, and Nev Campbell canceled on me, so that
yeah,
was disappointing. But I mean, other than that, it was an amazing couple of hours that we got to spend there.
Like,
So go ahead.
just can she didn't just cancel the showing up. She canceled on Shane. That's what she did.
Yeah, it was very disappointing.
Specifically, I love it. Sorry,
yeah.
Shane.
No, you're good. Yeah, yeah. So we probably are maybe about the halftime point now. So we will actually kick it over to me and Troy, talking about what Troy wants to talk about with football movies. Thank you, Shane. It's been great listening to what you guys are talking about on the first half of the podcast. Here we are at Troy's halftime talk, my favorite part of the show, when I get to spend some time with Troy. But truth be told, man, like this isn't as special as it used to be. Like this isn't a monthly thing anymore because you and I started a weekly thing that we got going on together right now. I've really enjoyed. I threw the idea out at you, and you were all for it. Where you and I get together every week now, and we talk shit about our fantasy football league. So I appreciate you being willing to do that with me.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference is I don't listen to those. So I listen to
Well,
this because this is important. So
nice. Well,
let's
very
treat this
cool.
like, let's just treat this like a real halftime talk.
All
Let's
right.
get into it. Let's
Real
get down
halftime
to
talk.
it.
Let's get into it. Troy, you played football in high school, correct?
I did.
All right. So, what football movies did you love when you were in high school? Or, I mean, like, even growing up before high school, like, what football movies resonate with you?
That's a really good question. I don't know that any football movie really resonated with me. Um, like I mean, obviously, I think when I was in eighth grade, I saw The Program,
Okay.
and I
All
saw
right.
that movie. I saw that movie opening weekend, so I got to see the scene where they lay down in the middle of the road. You know, got
Mm-hmm.
some impressionable kids killed
Yep.
before they pulled it. Um, but like that was so far from like the like ragged, like barely budgeted, like high school football experience that I had playing football in IPS schools, like
Mm.
super underfunded. Um, like there was kind of like a realization on my team, which was actually pretty good. We were not bad. We were consistently like, you know, making like sectional finals and stuff like that. But there was like a realization that like literally nobody cared. Like,
Oh.
this was like because this was high school football, like pre Peyton Manning coming to Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
Because like I don't know if you remember the like football wasteland that this place was before Peyton Manning. Like nobody gave a shit,
Nope.
and nobody really gave a shit about high school football. Like high school football in the state was treated like second class citizens to like most basketball teams. I
I mean,
know it
I'll give
certainly
you
wasn't
that.
my school. I know it certainly wasn't my school. So like the thing was, it was kind of like we knew that nobody cared enough that anybody could be like a real prima donna on our team. So like you know we didn't have a lot of like outlandish characters. There was just a bunch of kids that went out and played football on Friday
Right on.
night, practice together. Like but but I do have like one I guess beef with football movies
Okay.
in pertaining to their characters, and that is the way that movies treat offensive linemen.
Okay. All
There
right.
seems to be this thing in movies where they're just like, and you know, Billy Bob, like
Billy
our
Bob.
beloved Billy Bob from
Yep.
Varsity Blues, is one of these guys.
Yep.
Like Billy was a fat guy.
Yep.
Man, are you trying to tell me that Billy Bob could like block Dwight Freeney coming off the edge there? No, he couldn't. No, because like offensive linemen are not fat.
Okay. All
Offensive
right.
linemen are big dudes. Like Quentin Nelson, when you take the pads away, he be dunking and shit. He does not look. He does not look anything like Billy Bob.
Okay.
He doesn't look anything like sumo wrestlers or like the Samoan guys that they always get like when in your necessary roughnesses and your
Yep.
replacements. You know what I mean? It's always
Okay.
just like, oh, let me find like the most obese dude and he's the offensive lineman. I'm like, nah, dog. Like, like, no. Like
It's a
these
Hollywood
guys don't look like
stereotype that
that.
you're not a fan of.
It's a Hollywood stereotype that I'm not a fan of, especially because like offensive linemen get so little credit as it stands. That
That makes
yeah,
sense.
no, like trust me. But yeah, that's my one beef with football movies.
Okay. But
Other
so
than
are there
that,
any football movies that you like, that you enjoy, that you actually like, you don't mind watching, you enjoyed the story in
well,
them?
you know, I love Varsity Blues. Like
Good. Yep.
that's just an all-time great movie. Like I don't
Absolutely.
want, it's like I don't want your life. Like it was just so beautiful. Like Vanderbeek, his like forehead just looked so majestic and gargantuan on the big screen. Um, but you know, like I like a fair amount of football movies. I'm a really big fan of Any Given Sunday.
Okay.
I
All
know,
right.
I know that movie like stretches reality in a lot of parts, like
Yeah.
obviously, but there's some things like I find that wholly entertaining.
Just for
I
reference, both of those movies that you just referenced were released in 1999, the greatest year for cinema ever. Just
Wow,
to throw that out there.
wow, that's wild. Um, what else? Um, I know there's at least one more football movie that I actually really really like, and I cannot think of what it is.
Remember
Oh
the
well.
Titans, Friday Night
No,
Lights.
I hate Remember the Titans, dude.
Really?
Yeah, man. They take somebody that I really like, Ryan Gosling, and they put him in this like impossible blender of playing like cornerback. And I'm just like, dude, that guy was like the worst cornerback I've ever seen. And I'm like, man, inflexible hips, could not fucking turn, could not like fucking follow his receivers. Like he was just bad. Like his
Ah,
technique was bad. And so now I just have this like thing where every time I see Ryan Gosling, I'm just like, oh, that guy. I don't want that guy in my secondary.
all
Like
right.
out of here. Um, that's stupid. Um, let's see. I like the program a lot. That movie's
Mhm.
rad.
Yep.
Um, but that's a lot of these things don't have anything. Like I don't care about football really. Like I care about characters,
Okay.
like
All right.
essentially.
Sure.
Yeah, I I think that a lot of these things can never really like get realistic because the NFL is in such like tight control of the property,
Okay.
if that makes
Okay.
sense. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so do you remember the ESPN show Playmakers?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It
Yep.
was on for like one season, and it
Yeah.
was like and they totally left it like open for a cliffhanger, like they're coming back for season two, blah blah blah, and then like that show just like mysteriously got like its plug pulled when
Yeah.
ESPN got like Monday Night Football and like some expanded coverage. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just kind of like because it painted the NFL or professional football as it were in like a bad light, and they just shut it down.
Man, I had completely forgotten about that show. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. Good
So
call.
like it's funny that like the things that you will find that actually have like the NFL teams and the NFL sponsorships and logos and stuff like that, it's all shit like the game plan or like, and I don't think that movie actually does, but it's all just shit like that the Rock's gonna be in with like some children and
Jerry
all this like,
Maguire. Jerry Maguire had the NFL in it.
yeah, but Jerry Maguire didn't like the most controversial thing that Jerry Maguire did insofar as like the sport of football
Hmm.
was the thing with like Rod Tidwell's concussion,
Okay.
essentially. You
Okay.
know what I
Makes
mean?
sense.
It was never like it was always team versus agent. It was never like, you know,
Sure.
we're sending these guys out to slaughter, essentially, which is,
Okay. That makes sense. I see
a
your
little bit
point.
more of like Oliver Stone's point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, I don't know. All football movies are kind of good, I
Okay.
guess, because I think football just kind of like can be like a fill-in narrative device for like anything you want it to be.
Oh,
And
for
so it's
sure.
just like, you know, you can make a football movie that kind of revolves around anything, and it'll be watchable because it's like infinitely understandable as a language of its own.
Sure. Going back to our childhood, do you have feelings on Little Giants?
I remember watching that movie. I don't remember caring.
Okay.
Um,
Got you.
yeah, I
Cool.
think baseball makes better movies. I
I
will
can,
say that.
sure. I'll give you that.
Um, maybe it can tap more into like the like roots of America than football can, but I just don't know that like I just don't know that football necessarily lends itself to like good movies, like a real
Okay.
solid
Well,
A
so I'm
plus
curious.
movie.
I'm curious of your opinion on this because I have been debating recently if I actually like the movie Rudy or not. I haven't
Oh, I
watched
hate
it in a
Rudy.
long time. You hate Rudy? See, man,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think back about like this is a movie that's like what I remember of it. It's like a 2 hour movie where like him getting on the field is only like the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I just like I don't remember the rest of the
he
movie.
makes like
Like,
one tackle and he was off sides or whatever. Who cares, man? Like
okay,
I'm not, I'm not into that. Like, I really have like a huge bias against like Notre Dame. Like
oh,
I'm not
okay,
gonna lie, just growing up in this state, I've always hated them. So anything with like the glorification of Notre Dame at its heart, I'm just like, no, thank you. Um, what I do like football movie wise is like I have watched probably every ESPN 30 for 30 and ESPN 30 for 30 like thing about football. I watch them about college football, and I don't watch college football because like I honestly start to wonder that unless you have a movie like Varsity Blues, which is so over the top, right? That like you'll never beat real football for like the craziness of the characters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And okay, like what I mean by this is like, man, like find me a movie that's as entertaining as just watching like the life highlights of like Marshawn Lynch being Marshawn Lynch.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Man, talking about those 30 for 30s, the Run Ricky Run one was amazing.
Oh my god, the Run Ricky run one was like iconic, dude.
Yes.
I mean, I love that guy. I mean, obviously, you've known me for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like as long as Ricky Williams has been in the public sphere, and you know that like I was always pretty staunch Ricky defender. And
Absolutely.
I just wanted him to like free Ricky.
Yep.
Like I mean, yeah, the Run Ricky run one is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Really points out a lot of like hypocritical things about football, which the NFL does not want you to, explore in narrative feature, especially with their logos.
Yeah, absolutely.
but I think that's the thing. It's just like, I recently watched the Bo Jackson movie.
Oh, okay. I have not seen
You
that.
Don't Know Bo or whatever.
Okay.
It was like it was like on it like fucking like I was up at like 6 a.m. and I was like, oh, I want something fun. And watching Bo Jackson like tear people's ass up, and just the story about like fucking Bo Jackson being Bo Jackson, I'm just like, all right, like if you wrote this as a movie, like people would just be like, this is a little over the top, like that seems like far fetched and unreasonable, and it's just like, nah, man, that's just like the real story. Because that's honestly like who plays football. Like football is like the closest. Those dudes are like honestly like when they are burning their brightest are the closest thing that like human beings will get to like superheroes in a way, because they're like the biggest, the fastest, the like most yoked, the cream of the crop, and they're just out there like going to like fucking battle, like just like knocking into each other at like high speed, and it's just like that's like the action movies that we grew up on. You know what I mean? That's like Rambo and fucking Terminator, just like colliding at midfield, and it's just like, there's a reason that like there was all those like Bob Sanders, Chuck Norris jokes. And Bob Sanders was like 5'8", and it was because he was like a destroyer. Like he was amazing. He was a superhero. And
absolutely.
Like, how are you going to capture that on film?
That is an interesting point that you made, good sir.
Good luck to anybody trying to make the great football movie. It's like trying to write like the next great American novel. It's like, it's just a fucking like pipe dream in the wind. It's like, have at it.
All right, man. Well, I think that is a great place to end Troy's halftime talk this week. I absolutely love spending time with you. I'm glad we do it on a weekly basis now instead of a monthly basis. Always have fun chatting with you and everything. And brother, I will see you in a couple of days for the Indie Cinema League, and I'll see you next month for another Troy's halftime talk, my friend.
I don't want your lives.
I'm going to send it back over to Shane, Jason, Mark, and Lee, and we will see what they have to talk about with football movies for the rest of the episode. And as always, Troy has amazingly fun things to say about football, and it's, that is Troy's halftime. Always a good time. I mean, I feel like Troy... football is a good topic for him, but he had some interesting takes on it. So now we're going to chat about football, guys, and I have divided up this part of the podcast into 4 quarters. Quarter number 1, we're going to start with kids movies, kids football movies, movies that we should have seen when we were kids, and how you feel about them now. So the kids football movies that I have to address: Little Giants, Air Bud Golden Receiver, The Long Shots, The Game Plan. And I like Brian's song I put in there because like it's G-rated, and like I know it was made for TV, but like I don't know if it's necessarily a kids movie, but I just threw it in there because I didn't know where else to put it. What are you deucing?
I've seen 2 of those movies.
You've seen 2 of them, right on. Which 2 have you seen? You have to have seen Little Giants and The Game Plan.
That's the two. That's the two. I've never seen any of the others. So
Right on. Lee, what about you?
Little
You got
Giants.
any? Go ahead.
Who doesn't know Ed O'Neill in Little Giants? Like,
Absolutely.
and
Oh, of course. That's easy. That's an easy one, man. I use that GIF of the kid like flexing on the mirror like daily to people. So like Little Giants, 100%, 100%.
so good.
Uh,
I remember
Uh,
James Dill with us, Mark, because he was such a Giants fan.
Oh yeah, James James Daly. Well,
why am I?
definitely that. And the even my sisters watched that Little
Oh.
Giants. They loved it.
the Little Giants.
Mandy, Katie, they loved it.
The girl that was in that movie.
Oh, the Icebox. Remember?
Xbox. Like, told her that a few times if playing neighborhood football. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that and the game plan. The game plan's cute.
Yeah.
Longest time I'd watch anything The Rock is in. And it takes place in Boston. I know a lot of the places that they were shooting, they shot at Gillette Stadium. You know, whine about it all. You had fun when you were.
No, hey, I love you. I loved you when you were in Boston. Sorry.
It's a silly, stupid, fun movie about, guy who's too selfish and then has to learn how to not be selfish because of his kid, and so it's entertaining. So
Oh, should I have the Tooth Fairy? Should that have counted on there? Wasn't he a football player, The Rock and the Tooth Fairy?
it was a
No,
hockey.
was he? Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
was
that
hockey?
that makes more sense. Yeah, all right. The Long
Oh.
Shots was Ice Cube. I never saw it. Brian Song, made for TV movie about. Go ahead.
You know who directed the Long Shots?
I don't.
Ladies
I don't
and
either.
gentlemen, chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavor water.
No way.
Really?
And Durst. It was his first
Huh.
movie he ever directed, I believe. But yeah, it was one of those things where I put the poster up and we were showing it at the theater I was running at the time. And I like put it up and I looked down and I was like, Fred Durst? Like it up and everything. But yeah, I was not expecting that. I popped in and out a little bit. It looked like a regular kids
Sure.
sport. So it's nothing, I mean, like if we would have been 10 to 15 years old when that came out, we might have liked it. So
I know Kiki Palmer was like the main chick in it, and she's kind of Kiki Palmer, like she was in Nope. I don't know. She's kind of blown up recently. But yeah, Mark,
Oh.
what about these kids movies? When you were a kid, did you watch and or love any of those kids football movies? Did any of those get you into football?
Nah,
No.
not really. But you forgot? What about the Lucas, man?
Wait,
No.
what?
Lucas, yeah.
Yeah, Lucas. Remember?
Lucas.
Lee
No, I
knows
don't
what I'm
remember
talking about.
What was Lucas?
Yeah, it was Corey Haim. Charlie Sheen was the
Yep.
quarterback. Lee knows what I'm talking about. You ever seen that?
Yeah. 90s
I'm
movie.
not
Remember
familiar
he-
with it at all.
He went out for the football team. He was a little geeky kid. And they told him not to go out, and because he wanted to get with the girl from Goonies, the cheerleader
Oh.
girl. I can't remember her name.
That's
But,
actually a really good movie. That one would be towards the top for sure.
Yeah,
Lucas
yeah,
was
I
a
haven't even
really
heard
good
of it.
movie.
wait. The socially inept 14-year-old experiences heartbreak for the first time when his two best friends, Cappy, an older brother figure, and Maggie, the new girl with whom he is in love, fall for one another.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds terrible. Sounds
like a-
disappointing and depressing.
Actually, it is. Dude.
Watch
Actually,
it.
halfway through, you're like, man, screw her, man. Screw her, man. You know, like,
It evokes emotion. Come on, Shane. It's great.
All right.
yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely check it out.
Harley
What?
Sheen, Thorne Smith, Winona Ryder.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. She is in it.
Holy moly, this is
Yeah.
Gary. My goodness.
Yeah. Loaded cast. I was like I was trying to think of that, Mark, and I couldn't remember the name. But I
Yeah,
remember Corey. It was Corey Haim, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, dude.
Not-
That was
not the
a
other
good
Corey.
movie for sure.
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the IMDb rating on that?
6 point hold on. It is a 6.9.
That's not bad. that sounds like it's worth
Was
watching.
Was it? Wasn't it like cicadas or lightning bugs he was collecting with that girl? Remember?
Lightning bug, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
The guy who directed this directed Punchline, did not direct Shining Through. Wow.
I'm surprised you guys haven't seen it.
Nah, I didn't even
Yeah,
heard
for
of
sure.
it. Interesting.
Wrote The Omen. The guy who directed it also wrote the Omen and Dragonfly, My Giant.
Because remember, not another teen movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember the dorky little kid that
Uh-huh.
gets on the field, and they're like, remember the guy was like, "Hey, what's throwing the ball?" He's like, "Look, guys, I'm just happy to be on the field." Like, remember that kid?
Okay.
They're making fun of that movie.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
learned
he
something
goes
new
out,
tonight.
he gets. I think he get hit. He gets hurt or something.
The
It gets hurt.
teen movie in half. It's a
Oh yeah, he gets marked, dude. He gets boom. He's finished. You know, like,
Chris Evans back who gets him killed. So
Oh, crazy. All right, let's go to where I'm probably going to have the most fun. Quarter number 2, we're going to teen movies here. Jason, don't roll your eyes like that.
I didn't roll my eyes on this one.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Teen movies. We got Remember the Titans. We got Rudy. We got Friday Night Lights, The Water Boy, Varsity Blues, Gridiron Gang, and then the 80s classic All the Right Moves. Teenage genre movies are my thing. Like, I love all of these movies. Some more than others. The Water Boy, I think, is one of Adam Sandler's worst movies, but it is what it is. Obviously, I'm a huge Varsity Blues fan. Remember the Titans was amazing. Does anybody really like Rudy? Like, I feel like I only liked Rudy because it was about Notre Dame. Like, I don't really know if I liked the movie itself. Did anybody on here actually like
John
Rudy?
Favreau's first movie, man. John
Is it
Favreau's
really?
first movie? Come on.
No, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I think so. It was either that or PCU, I think. It was one of those. I think that was his first movie, though.
Shane
Okay.
left off Wildcats. Wildcats is a teen movie.
Okay, I'll give you that
And
for sure.
love that movie. Looking
That's
at Rudy.
true.
oh yeah, love Wildcat.
Um, was it Scott
Big ol'
Bakula that was
house.
the quarterback?
In
Who was
what?
in Wildcats?
And Wildcats?
Oh, I don't remember who the quarterback was. I just remember Wesley Snipes.
Oh no, Mekhi
And-
Williamson.
Dude,
And-
he had one of the best lines in that.
Woody is in it.
Oh, Necessary Roughness is what I was thinking of with Scott Bakula. That's what I was
Oh,
thinking.
yeah.
We'll get to that in quarter number 3. Lee, what's your favorite teenage
Quantum
football
Leap.
movie?
Remember the Titans.
Okay.
I think just because the experience I had in high school with our football team, and just there's a couple scenes in the movie where they're beating the pads and they got a little chant when they're coming out to the field,
Mm-hmm.
and we did that as a team.
Nice.
And I remember we had traveled to a couple towns that weren't too kind to our team.
Oh.
And I remember, yeah, we got into some pretty bad spots out in the country, and I'll leave it at that. But we definitely came together as a team, and we always walked out to the field, and we always had a chant, and we always coming out together. And when I saw that movie, that just like, I don't know, man, it pulled at my heart, and I go right back to that feeling of just being with those guys, and some of the best time that I've ever had in sports, absolutely, and just in life in general, was on my high school football team. So yeah, Remember the Titans just pulls that emotion out. The story's great. Denzel's great.
Denzel is
Love
amazing
it,
in that movie.
for sure.
All right, Mark, what about you, man? When you were in high school, like what was the football movie that you like would watch a lot, that you cared about, that you loved?
Probably Wildcats I did watch that a lot because that was
Okay.
on film. Like that's more comedic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I guess that one, like everybody else, Rudy. A little bit of Rudy. That was later.
Okay, but you really liked Rudy? Like Rudy, like you really liked it?
Nah, I mean, dude, we're all staying for the end. Like, get on the field, man. Come on.
Yeah,
You know,
I got
like,
you.
Yeah.
get them out
Yeah.
there. You know?
Everybody, say what's up to Nick making his annual show up on the podcast. What's up, brother?
What's up, Nick? His name's on the screen, so he's been on here the whole time. I
His world, I'm just living in it, man. So
love it. What's up, dude?
Hi,
say good night.
you dude.
Good night, bud. I love you.
Good to see you, Nick.
Night, buddy. That's awesome, dude.
What
That's
I
great.
There's a TV. Can you mention a TV show?
Hey, go for it. Yeah, Coach.
I did it. No, not Coach.
No.
This is on
Chill.
HBO. First and 10. Dr. Death.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Such a television show.
I loved it.
What was it?
His First and 10.
First and 10.
Oh.
OJ.
Okay. Oh.
Think- But with a more comedic edge to it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, solid show, man.
Cool. Jason, what do you
I'll
got?
add on that with Mark on Rudy. Rudy had it's what I think for Rudy, it's when you watch it.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
I remember they had us watch it the night before a big game,
Okay.
and that just kind of elicited all of that, like the underdog feel. And like, you know, any one of us can make a big play if we all just go 100.
Mhm.
So when they showed it to us before a game, it just brought out all kinds of different emotions and feeling. And I don't know, Sean Astin played some characters throughout his career that he
Encino
just
Man,
he
baby.
just pulled he just pulled out that, like, I don't know, just a crazy emotion. Like, all right, dude, I'm following that dude anywhere, man.
Okay. Man, I should probably. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It was one of those ones that, like, when I was thinking about all these movies and I thought back about it, I was like, man, I like barely, like, Hoosiers stuck in my head, but like Rudy, when I think back about it, like all I remember is the last few minutes of it. Like, what the hell else happened? Like, how do we go through 2 hours of the movie for me to see him get on the field for 5 minutes? Like, I just don't really remember Rudy. So I was trying to decide if I actually liked the movie or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had to go through that.
Okay.
Get there.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember how much he busted his ass.
Yeah.
What he had to go through to get on
Was
the field.
there in
Yeah.
School Ties? Were they football players in School Ties? They were on the football team. I just was thinking about Rudy made me think about School Ties, and I didn't put that on the list to talk about. But I couldn't remember if they were football players in School Ties or not. Mr. Mayor, what about you, man? Like any from teenage time movies that you think stick out to you?
Oh man, if we're talking about like before I graduated high school, I'm gonna stick with Mark on Wildcats.
Cool.
But by far, like the definitive like football movie for me out of all these is Varsity Blues. Now I get to be on the outside. I never played a snap of football. I got to watch you guys play that and enjoy you guys playing those games. But from somebody, and I can totally understand why Remember the Titans would hit you in a special spot with the stuff that I know everybody dealt with when we were there. But definitely like Varsity Blues is just like, it's literally like, it's like all the good things from like a football movie as well as a coming of age story, because it's like everybody thought the football players were like super partiers and just having sex and getting drunk all the time. And so they just are like, oh, we're just going to personify that and just make sure you know that that's what's happening. But then you also had, you know, Mox's speech at the end of that movie is one of my favorite all-time movie speeches. And I just love the way that he delivers it, the cadence that he has with it and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, trying to live up to everybody else's expectations and stuff like that. I think especially that was 99, right, Shane?
Yep.
So like, you know, here, you know, we're 18, just graduating high school, 20, whatever, 18 to 20. And like that movie just like hits perfect for me. And it's one of those ones where like if I channel surf and that was on, I'm dropping the remote.
Absolutely.
So
that was a great year for movies. Wasn't that the same year Can't Hardly Wait, or was Can't
Can't
Hardly
Hardly
Wait the
Wait
year
was
before?
98. Yeah, Can't Hardly Wait was
Dude, that was
98.
graduated.
great movies though, like back to back. I feel like that came out
Absolutely.
like just stick, man.
As far as cinema goes, 1999 is the greatest year that film has ever released an entire calendar year
Uh-oh.
of movies. I literally have a companion podcast that I've done half of the year 1999, gone through every single week and talked about the movies that were released. Next year, I'm hoping to pick up and do the back half of 99. But yeah, 1999 is the greatest year for cinema ever. It literally hit everything and just released a good movie basically every week for 52 weeks. It's amazing. I will agree with Jason and say that as somebody who has never played football, I think Varsity Blues gives me, as a film goer, what I want from football. But I would say that I can definitely believe Friday Night Lights and Remember the Titans are probably the ones that actual football players think is a better representation of like the camaraderie in the locker room and stuff like that. But as somebody who didn't play football, Varsity Blues is what I want football life to be like. So that's what I think it is.
Well, and
Dude, Tweeter is one of the best characters I think of all time. And I played in college a little bit, but like we had way more tweeters than we probably needed on that team. But great
Nice.
character though. Love that.
Oh yeah.
Friday Night Lights is definitely one of those movies where like Peter Berg hits the tone of that so well from a movie going standpoint. Like and like
Billy Bob.
knowing some of the stuff that Mark and Lee have told me about what happened behind the scenes with football players and superstars on our own team and stuff like that, and witnessing some of that firsthand, Booby, was it Booby or Booby Miles? I can't remember.
Booby Miles.
Yeah, Booby Miles, yeah.
And like he literally like kind of personifies somebody we went to high school with, and you're just like you have all the God-given talent in the world and just get your crap together and just for a little while. And so, but yeah, Friday Night Lights is I think is probably like right up there as the second one, probably with Remember the Titans for me, right after Varsity Blues. But you know, who doesn't love the Water Boy? Come on. If Mark could have played in college, I would like just to hear that yell, Mark doing the yell for us. That would have been amazing.
Hey, by the way, we talked before we started recording, and I'm gonna say it again, Mark. I love you, bro. One of the best middle linebackers. Like I expected, and I still think we travel back in time. You could easily played D1 anywhere you wanted to go to. Mark was one of the best middle linebackers. Anybody that's watching this that watches football, and you know, we talk about linebackers kind of having a different role as far as not a specific. There's more coverage, and they're covering wide receivers and crap. Mark would smash people and lead with his head, and it was legal, and it was fun, to watch. So, Mark, you're one of my favorite players that I ever got to watch back in the day. So it was cool to play with you on the same team.
Coach said it's normal to bleed from the ears.
Yes.
I'm gonna scour the internet and see if anybody's put Mark Buckwalter footage on YouTube so that I can cut to it while we're talking about him. All right, let's transition. Let's transition into the third quarter. Let's hit some adult movies. Let's hit some movies that were made R-rated, adult intentions, like stuff that you were supposed to watch when you were older. My starting list I've got is The Replacements, which I guess is that even rated R? It's rated R, isn't it?
I'll look it up for you.
PG-13. Replacements: The Blind Side, Invincible, We Are Marshall, Any Given Sunday, which came out in 1999, and I don't think it's very good. What was that?
13.
13. Gotcha. The Longest Yard, The Program, which was probably the most controversial football movie when we were growing up. American Underdog, which I never saw, Necessary Roughness, and then I've got Wildcats listed in the adult section. Was Wildcats not rated R?
Wildcats was rated R, if I'm
Okay.
remembering correct.
But it was set in high school.
Yeah, it was it's a rated R movie. It's a rookie high school football coach.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So Wildcats can kind of be we've already talked about it, so we addressed that and whatnot. But out of those adult movies, like Lee, you were playing football when the program was a kind of a big deal. I mean, it came out in '93, so it was a little before you hit high school. But like, do you remember that being a big deal with football players back then?
I do. Man, I remember the scenes that were cut out of the movie,
Yep.
and then all the controversy and talking about it, and just kind of that to me, again, transitioning from high school to to go into the college level, that movie was very accurate, in
Okay.
my opinion. It was over exaggerated, and but anything that they put in that movie, they got from a real story.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They sensationalized it, whatever. But yeah, that was shell shock to me because when I went from high school to college, that was a change of. I mean, I didn't have the adult supervision
Mm-hmm.
that I was used to having, and obviously they assigned us some mentors when I got to school and stuff. But yeah, watching that movie even now later and then thinking back on that and comparing to the experiences and the things that I saw, the program was for one, I mean that's probably my favorite just because it was the most real. And
Okay.
I don't know, that's how I would judge that. The other movies are great though. But yeah, I mean the program was very accurate. And as far as the things that they cut out of that, unfortunately, we're with all the mental health
No, true.
support and advances we're getting on. I think that things like that needed to be talked about back then, and it was becoming taboo, and that shit was going on, man. It was real.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anybody who doesn't know, the biggest scene that got cut from the movie was when the guys got drunk at a bar, walked out of the bar, and then two of them decided to lay down in the middle of the street and have cars literally driving over them. And I can't remember if the movie was out for a week before it got cut out, but a bunch of people started trying to pull that stunt and laying down in the middle of streets, and they were getting run over and killed. And so yeah, they ended up cutting that scene out of the movie.
yeah.
Jason, you look like you had something to say. You have any
But
insight from your brother or your dad at that time?
no, from what I remember, it was only a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and thinking back on that now, I'm like, holy crap, somebody was stupid enough to watch a movie and go, oh, that's a good idea. Let me lay down in the middle of the street on the double yellow line and see what happens when people are just driving on both sides of you. But the other interesting thing is from a projectionist standpoint, I would have been pissed. Oh, wait a minute, I got to dig into this film 3 or 4 reels and then take that reel off, or did they just cut it completely? Because they might have, they might not have wanted to reprint the entire reel, so they might have
Yep.
just said, hey, cut from this part to this part and throw it away, or
Yep.
send it because it was Disney who owned that film. It was a
Oh.
touchdown. I think it was touch.
Yep. I
So it
think
was
you're right.
a Disney adult, or sorry, a sister organization of Disney, one of their production companies. And so I guarantee you they've, who knows, maybe nowadays they wouldn't even care with the stuff that Disney puts out lately, but definitely was something like they were definitely worried about their image back then on that for sure.
For
So
sure. Mark, you got any? Did the program affect you in any way? Do you remember it? Did you remember seeing it?
I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
that, and then really the steroid part of it. Because I'll say this, I mean, I didn't take it, but I had uncles that took it. My dad took steroids back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that roid rage,
Mm.
true, man, 100% true. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Interesting. What were you
Yeah,
about
I
to
think
say,
there's a
Jason?
scene in the movie where he headbutts the window
Oh yeah. Yep.
Absolutely, I've seen somebody do that.
Oh, dude, yeah.
100%. 100%.
Jason,
Yeah.
yeah,
And not
you
to
were about to
mimic
say
the,
something?
I'm sorry, Shane. What were you?
Place at the table.
yeah.
I felt like before you let Mark talk that you had something you were going to say.
Kane is able.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Uh,
Are you hurt or are you injured? One of my
That-
favorite lines of a movie of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. I love that line, and you guys used to say it all the time. Are you hurt or you injured? What's the difference?
Yep. I say it to my kids all the time.
so let's take a look at some of the based on a true story football movies like The Blind Side, Invincible, We Are Marshall, American Underdog. Any of those resonate with you? Did you care about any of them? Did you like any of them, or were they just? I mean, you know how I feel about biopics, so none of them really stood out to me. But any of those football movies stand out to you guys?
Dude, American Underdog was so much better than it should have been.
Was it?
Like,
I haven't seen that one.
knowing what you do know already about Kurt Warner,
Yeah.
um, Zachary Levi and Anna Paquin do a really, really good job in that movie. Greg Kinnear's in it. Yeah, it's just I think it was Greg Kinnear was in that. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I might be mixing that up with Invincible because I know he was also in that. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
yeah. I really like American Underdog. It's kind of weird all the stuff that's come out since like in the last couple of years about The Blind Side and
Yeah.
how it anywhere near factually true and all this other stuff, and it just helped get make money and everything else.
Big
So
surprise, a biopic isn't really true, is it? Weird, awkward. I wonder who's been complaining about that for years.
but I think yeah, and for the other ones that as far as that go, I liked Invincible a lot. My only issue was that it's a Disney film, and I don't mean to harp much for this, but anytime Disney actually puts Walt Disney Pictures and it's a live action film, it's hardly ever very like dynamic and very engaging. They can tell a story just fine, but it hardly ever hits you the way that it should, in my opinion. I think if you could have had it made by somebody else, it probably would have been better. But Mark Wahlberg was fun in that movie, and I loved and I had a lot of fun watching that old school football stuff going on, where them not because he plays a lot of backyard football in that movie too. So here they are smashing into each other with no pads, and it's just like and not that we were ever on that level, but I can remember us smacking into each other quite a bit and being stupid playing tackle football, and somebody always ended up getting hurt pretty much. So
Just thought of something here. He probably deserved an Oscar for that movie for the simple fact that he's a Boston boy, right? Who played somebody that played for the Eagles. Like, I mean, and like, man, I feel like he deserves an Oscar just for being able to pull that performance off. I just
Let me ask you. Hey, I got a question real quick.
let's do it.
Because I can't really remember. Radio. Did that have a football
Oh,
element to it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
That
Good call.
like I thought I mean it wasn't necessarily a football movie, I guess, but I really remember watching that, and that one sticks out to me. Like I don't know, I just really liked Cuba in that one. I thought it was a good movie, man.
I'm
I can't remember it had a
pretty sure it came out
I
in
have to go back.
1999. But yeah, no, he was like the manager for the football team. Ed
Yeah,
O'Neill. Ed O'Neill was the head coach,
yeah,
and he was
pump the brakes there, Shane. You're
1999.
you're 4 years too early.
What?
It was
oh shoot, that was a
2000.
biopic though, right?
Yes, it
That
was.
was that was a bio. That was yeah. I'd like to throw that one in there because I really like that
Yeah,
movie.
that's awesome. The other one that I just thought of while we were talking about when Jason said old school football, that George Clooney movie that was like about like the origins of football.
Leatherhead.
Leatherheads. I
Oh,
did not.
Leatherheads, yeah.
I didn't like it at all. How do real football people feel about Leatherheads?
No,
No. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't
Mark.
seen it.
Oh,
So
you haven't seen? Okay, yeah. I don't remember it being
no,
very
yeah.
good. I
it's
don't
got
remember like.
John Krasinski's in it, right? The Office guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just
I do
was
like him.
Did not hit right. I think George Clooney directed that, and it might have been his first movie he ever directed.
Sounds
So.
right. All right, let's go into the fourth quarter and let's talk about quarterbacks. Let's talk about who, if you were going to build what's up, Jason?
A lot of them on this list.
I do, and I'm just going to read them off, and then you guys can each pick one. I just want to know if you were
is Al Bundy on here? Al Bundy was a quarterback, wasn't he? Come on now.
No, he wasn't a quarterback, was he?
He was a running back or
he was a running back.
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
right. He was a running back.
Never mind. Sorry.
I'm going to list them off and the movies they're from, and I want to know if you were drafting, if you were going to build a football team, who of all these quarterbacks would you want to be your quarterback for your football team that you're putting together? We got Paul Crewe from The Longest Yard, Burt Reynolds. I guess you could do the Adam Sandler Paul Crewe if you want to. He did the Longest Yard also. Cap Rooney from Any Given Sunday, Dennis Quaid, or Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday, J.B. Fox. Bird Williams, Mekhi Williamson from Wildcats. We got Jimmy Dix from The Last Boy Scout, Damon Wayans. Shane Falco was Keanu Reeves in The Replacements. Sunshine from Remember the Titans, Kip Pardue. Varsity Blues, we had two of them, Lance Harbor and Jonathan Moxon. Paul Walker and James Vanderbeek. Scott Bakula played Paul Blake in Necessary Roughness. Dwayne Johnson was Joe Kingman in The Game Plan. And we have Craig Schaefer from The Program who played Joe Kane. Or if there's somebody I forgot, those were the ones that all came to my mind as quarterbacks. Jason's calling a timeout. Let's go to the sidelines. Jason's got a timeout. Let's go.
We got to know something first, Shane. Are we aiming to win it all, or are we just trying to sell tickets? That's my question.
You are trying to put together the best team as a general manager of your football team. If you were building a team, however you want, do you give a shit about, actually being a good team? Or do you just want to sell tickets? However you want to justify your choice, that's fine. I know plenty of NFL general managers that fucking don't care about actually being good. So
you're first. Who you picking? Who you drafting number one overall, Shane?
Oh, me? You know who my boy is. My boy is Paul Walker, Lance Harbor from Varsity Blues. I mean, I know I'm wearing the Moxon jersey, but Lance Harbor was my boy.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean, it's tough, but Lance Harbor, had he not been injured, would have taken them to the perfect season. Moxon did not take them to the perfect season. So Lance Harbor would have taken them to the perfect season. That's who I would have to go after if I had the number one pick. That's who I think out of all these quarterbacks is probably the most talented at playing quarterback. So I would take Lance Harbor.
Mark Buckwalter, number one draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh god.
Who are you picking?
Well, first off, if somebody called me Sunshine, I'd fucking kill him. That's number one. Two, dude, you gotta go with Burt Reynolds.
Oh,
you gotta go with Burt Reynolds.
Sex appeal right there with that choice. You get all the ladies coming to your games then.
Dude, the women, the stories. Come on. Dude, you drink a six-pack before you go on the beer, on the field and smoke a cigarette, right?
All right. Lee Vidal, you are the GM of your Indianapolis Colts, and with the number one pick in the draft, you are choosing who, sir?
Dude, I'm selling out day one. All right. Best theme song ever. Willie Beeman. Number one. He's got him screaming.
I'd buy a Beeman Colts jersey. All right, Mr. Mayor, number one draft pick for the New England Patriots. You're taking the new quarterback, the future of your franchise.
I'm doing Metrex, baby. I'm doing Willie Beeman as well. I'm selling.
Yes.
He can still fling. Yes. But my O-line sucks right now. I got to make sure something.
So, talent right there. Talent.
Man, yeah. So that's the four quarters that I had set up. Before we move on, anybody got anything left to say about football movies? Did we miss anything? Did we not address anything? Our two football players, our stars down there. Is there anything that we missed that you guys want to address about football movies?
Uh, we got some older ones.
Okay, go for it.
I always liked North Dallas 40. I always like that one. Nick Nolte. That's
Oh, okay.
That's 78 or I remember that one.
Debbie Does
And then there was
Dallas,
another one.
another one from our childhood.
Then then there was another one. It had Kurt Russell.
Talk about Jason without supervision.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Sorry.
no, but there's one I wanted to mention. I can't remember the name of it, but it had Kurt Russell and then Robin Williams, and they went back to their high school days of play. It was like Glory Days or something, or I can't remember the name of it. But I remember seeing that movie a lot.
Kurt Russell, Robin Williams, The Best of Times.
The Best of Times, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this. Oh, it only has a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But that was kind of a funny,
okay,
like the kind of like it's what we would want to do. Like, man, you see high school game now, and you're like, man, I want to get out there. No, I smack that kid in the head. But then secretly inside, I'm thinking like, I get one play, man, and then I get one hit. I'll be done,
Lee, you got anything?
Mark, dude, I got a question for you, bro. Like, well, everybody, but like in my opinion, any given Sunday, as far as the football footage, is probably the most realistic football playing on the field and how they filmed it. And who was the director? Was that Stone?
Oliver Stone.
Yeah, Oliver Stone. Yeah.
Yeah, the way he told the story when they played, that I think that's the most realistic. That sticks out to me. Like the football play was real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And every time I think of that movie, I always think of Lawrence Taylor.
Oh,
no, just the shenanigans he always does. Like remember you can't have the offense without the defense. Like yeah,
love it. Love that movie.
Him in The Waterboy, where he's like, and that just reminds me, kids, don't smoke crack.
Don't smoke crack.
Jail for crack. It's telling us on a movie. Don't.
Dude, Lee knows this. He's played with guys like this. They can't spell their damn name. The guys could play. Great talented guys. All the talent in the world. And those guys, you see their tests, and they go take SATs and they're passing. Like, dude, like that guy could spell cat if you spot the C and T. But
as
that's true.
As somebody who knew a couple of football players in high school, it always baffled me how dumb they were when it came to schooling. But then anytime I would see their playbooks and like the shit that they had to memorize for football, I was just like, you're obviously not dumb. Like, you are obviously memorizing a lot of shit to know these plays, but like you just don't apply yourself the same to school. So like I remember in high school, like having a friend that was on the football team and then thinking he was an idiot, but then like watching him study plays and memorizing all the call outs for where you need to go for where the wedges are going to be on this running play and shit like that. Having all that stuff memorized just baffles me that they were able to do that but not do schoolwork.
The program. There's a scene where they're watching film. That is real.
Okay.
Like you can't even do 2 + 2, and you're sitting here calling out the defense and the offense where they're going before they do it. It's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that draft day was kind of fun. It's a really ridiculous. There's no way any GMs would do that the moves that he does in that movie, but at least it was kind of entertaining and fun.
Okay.
I love the show Ballers. I thought that was a whole lot of cool stuff to watch. And then crap, there was something else that popped into my head while Mark was talking. I was like, oh, I need to bring that up. and I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. So I'll try to remember what it was. But
Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire.
Oh, Jerry Maguire had some good football in it. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, wait, you're missing, dude. Which one was it? Go ahead. I'll come back.
Well, I was just, I mean, now that you brought up Jerry
Who's in
Maguire,
it?
if we're on Cameron Crowe, we got Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where we had Forrest
Yeah,
Whitaker.
Great.
yeah.
Yeah, Mark, what was on your mind? Well, come on,
I forgot it.
Jason, what was
Sorry.
on your mind?
Jason,
Go ahead.
yeah, dude, that draft day, I watched that on the plane. I when we flew recently, and it was just like, oh, whatever. I haven't seen this movie. I actually really liked that movie. Like, I really did. It was worth a watch for sure.
Last Boy Scout, I love that movie, but I mean
Absolutely,
that's not really a football movie.
but there's
So
football in it.
a couple of scenes of football. You're right.
I mean,
That
I can't think
opening
of any
scene,
other
holy
football
crap.
scene where somebody shoots somebody on the football field.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy stuff, man.
You.
Ain't like
Oh, was no, the fan was baseball. Never mind.
yep, the fan was baseball.
Um,
Dang it. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Word.
So next up, Shane, what's up on our list of things to
Let's
get done?
do
here?
it. We have a new person, first timer tonight. Every time we have somebody on for the first time, we do what's called the Hurwitz questionnaire. The Hurwitz questionnaire used to be 19 questions. We've cut it down to 10 of them. Mark, you've still got about 6 more months before we get to do your redo. But we'll have you on sometime next year, and you'll get to tell me your new updated answers now that you've had more time to think about it. But Lee, we have 10 questions for you, and we want to know your answers to these 10 questions about movies, about cinema, about film, about just loving movies the way that we all do together. Mr. Mayor, if you would do the odd questions, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely. Lee, what is the first film you ever saw or can remember seeing, whether at home or in a movie theater?
Yeah, man. So instant memory. Definitely not the first movie I ever saw, but the first memory that I have of like feeling like this movie means something to me. When we lived in Puerto Rico when I was a kid, and we moved to Indiana, and I'd never seen snow. It was flurrying. I thought it was a blizzard. I figured that out real quick that I didn't know anything about snow. But I remember I didn't have any pants. I had shorts and tank tops and t-shirts, and we were sitting inside, and they played Hoosiers for me. And
Oh,
we had just moved to Indiana, and I remember wearing a pair of Chuck Taylors for years after that. And that movie still, I got the poster hanging up in the basement, the movie
nice.
poster size, and yeah, that movie blew me away that I was living in the state where that movie happened. And years later, I worked with a dude that went to school at Butler, and he brought me to Hinkle Field House to just shoot some baskets, and we did a workout. We were doing some stairs and stuff, and I remember just like couldn't breathe walking into Hinkle Field House and just looking around and remembering that movie. It just took my breath away, man. So yeah, Hoosiers for sure still will always be that like first great memory of a movie that could like take you to a different place, man.
That's awesome. Jason, what was the forearm pointing?
Got a tattoo.
What's your tattoo?
Yeah. I don't think it'll show well on the. I won't show well on camera, but I've got the state of Indiana, and
Okay.
inside is the on the poster were the pair of Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one turned to the side and one, yeah, the movie poster. I've
Dude,
got it
that's
inside the.
awesome.
Yeah, I've got it right on the forum. I see it every day, and yeah,
Dude,
I
I please text me a picture of that sometime. I would love to see that. I didn't know you had that tattoo. That's awesome.
for sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
absolutely one of my favorites. And in my job, I get to work with different people every day, and it's great because it's a story.
Yeah.
People ask, and they know the movie, and yeah, man, I get to talk about one of my favorite movies all the time, so it's kind of cool.
Dude, that's awesome. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Question number 2. I'm looking forward to this answer after how great your first answer was. What is your favorite film of all time?
Yeah, well, won't surprise you there, but Hoosiers to me, it because of the where it pulls at my heartstrings, will always be my favorite movie.
That's awesome.
That
Very cool.
if I get one movie that I get to take that I get to watch for all time, that's gonna be the one.
That is an amazing movie to pick. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'm on an island. I got a TV somehow. I got electricity. I'm watching Hoosiers because I'm getting hyped up, getting coconuts and stuff after watching that one.
Question 3.
Number 3 is, what is your favorite line of dialogue in a movie?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. We talked about the one, "Are you hurt? Or are you injured?" I use that so much. But we talked about the movie. I really like Shane. You had kind of shared what we might have to talk about or whatever, but like I
Mhm.
didn't purposely look at these questions
Okay.
because it sounded like I got so. Uh, we talked about the movie and it's sticking out to me right now, and it makes me laugh every time. But Waterboy, when Colonel Sanders tells him about the medulla oblongata, oh my gosh, yeah, and he just smokes him. Favorite line of a movie, I think.
Long
Well, it's funny because you bring up the water boy and you bring up you, and all I remember are the outtakes from when we filmed To Change the World, and you did the water sucks
Yeah.
speech, and we have that on film. I absolutely love that.
So
Question,
real
go ahead.
quick,
Yeah.
real quick, to touch back on that, obviously we talked about scary movies before, and that Consternate was on your Mount Rushmore.
Yes, sir.
We do, and then I know that was outtakes from To Change the World, but Consternate though, we do watch that every year, me and the kids. My kids get a kick out of it.
Seriously,
Yeah,
that's
one of
awesome.
you, 100%, 100%. We've done it for the last 3 years, and uh, get the big bowl of popcorn out, and the kids make fun and all that. Whatever, it's great.
Awesome.
And then especially after Layla watched Scream,
Nice.
but the fact that I think Jason opened an IMDb page, or Shane, maybe you did,
Yep.
put my name on an IMDb page.
Yes, sir.
Whenever I'm teaching a class or doing a teaching at a camp or as a counselor or something like that, and they ask for a fun fact about something that people wouldn't know about you,
Uh-huh.
I tell them that I'm an actor.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, Mark, I mean,
I tell them,
Mark, I don't know if you officially know this or not. Like, I didn't really broadcast it to anybody, but all of our movies that we've ever done are on the IMDb. So you're listed on there as an actor, as a sound guy, as a musical supervisor. Like, you have a bunch of credits on the IMDb out there, my friend. And
Damn,
yeah, Lee, you're on
I gotta
there as
look
an
that
actor
up.
for a couple of things, but yeah, all of our stuff's on the IMDb.
hell yeah, love it,
You're
man. It's fun.
distinguished.
It's fun for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool. That makes me number one. It makes me happy that your kids watch Consternate and make fun of it. That's what it's there for now. But the fact that you're
yep,
proud of your IMDb status, that makes me super happy. You'll be adding another IMDb
yep.
credit this week when you get put on there as a guest on this show.
Perfect,
Question
perfect.
number
I love it, man.
4. What made you realize that what movie or film made you realize that film is an art?
So, oh man, yeah, a lot of movies I can relate to. I would have to say, as far as a movie and as far as an art, the way that I view that, and I know it can
Mhm.
be viewed differently, but as far as I'm looking at it visually
Okay.
and as far as an art form, The Matrix. When I watched
Ooh.
that the first time, that another one just blew me away. Like what they could do on camera and how real it looked at the time was just amazing to me. Yeah, I'd
Absolutely.
have to say The Matrix. Yeah, for sure.
Question
Awesome.
5.
Question 5 is, what movie do you consider your guilty pleasure? One that somebody hears you like it, and they're like, "Oh man, you like that movie?"
I feel like I should say 21 Jump Street after seeing how Shane reacted to it when I was.
I feel like it was funny. I
No.
don't think it's a good movie.
I laughed so hard, dude. I can't tell you how hard. I mean, it was unreal. Um, Guilty pleasure. Uh, I don't know. There's tons of movies that just come on that like it's like watch it. And I don't know if it's right to call it a guilty pleasure or whatever though, man. Like I know some older movies, like Something About Mary. I guess that kind of sticks out in my head. That's one that is that's on. Like it just makes me laugh. Like I don't know, just and there's funny uh just one-liners in there.
But like, what's
Yeah, I don't
something that
know.
most people would think is a bad movie that you like? Like, I don't think something about Mary is bad. Like,
Yes.
but like,
Oh, I got you. I got you. Um,
I get
I'm
shit because
trying
I
to
like
think.
Wild Things, and everybody hates Wild Things, but I think everybody should watch it because I think it got such bad coverage when it came out that like they didn't realize how genius of a movie Wild Things is.
I have
Or
to
oh,
come
this
back
movie
on
called
that
Bodies,
one.
Bodies, Bodies. It's so like on another level of funny and hilariously just it blows my mind how good Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't seen that one. Uh,
You're not
I don't
missing
know. Wild
anything.
Things. I thought
Watch that movie.
that no, Wild Things was. I like that movie too.
Yeah,
Cruel Intentions. Come on, go back in the. I'm probably trying to go back and name all the 1999 movies though.
nice.
If that was not, I think that was 99.
Cruel Intentions was
I don't
99.
know,
Wild
man.
Things was 98.
Yeah, I don't know. Jason, Jason always, Jason was so good about, like, and Jason, like, dude, we've been friends since elementary school, almost or whatever, middle school, and
Okay.
man, he always got on me about I overvalued action movies, I think,
Nothing wrong with
but
that.
I love it. No, but I mean, there's some Jason would like he would be. I feel like Jason would get so annoyed with me because like he would want to see some of these great like acting, directed, like well filmed movies, and I'm like, dude, if Michael Bay's not involved, I'm out. So I don't know if I can give you a specific movie, but
Okay.
like if Jason Statham's in it, I'm gonna watch it. So I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Question number
Gotcha.
Uh,
six. What is your favorite? Who is your favorite actor or actress of all time?
Easy. This no, this one I'm going at Jason with this one. No, probably not who you think, but absolutely don't even have to see a trailer of any movie this dude was in. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm in. 100%.
Nice.
100%. He's gonna make something that I'm gonna love watching. Who are you saying, Jay?
Oh, I was saying me. I was just being smart ass.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Number
Well, actually, I have my own IMDb, so I'm
Oh,
my own favorite actor.
I love
Thank you.
that. That's great.
Who is your favorite director of all time?
Oh man, that's a good one. Steven Spielberg is, I think, the easy one to say. Like
Okay.
anything I'm gonna watch that he makes, I feel like I'm gonna love. What's the one where the film one where they're with the train?
The Fablemans.
Uh, no, it was no. This was a while ago.
Super
They were
8.
filming with what's that?
Wasn't Super 8? Is that the one you're thinking
Super
of?
8. Super 8.
He produced,
Yeah,
directed.
he he didn't direct it. Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
Steven Spielberg is like I mean I think to me like yeah he's made tons of movies where like I can just relate to. I love it. Obviously anything he's involved in like I think for sure. But recently as a family, I don't know how everybody will react to this. But we watched Wednesday,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think Tim Burton Tim Burton didn't do all of the episodes, but and we talked about Beetlejuice, and I know that's coming out, and he's one where I think like any of the stuff that I've seen that he's made, it's just super entertaining, and those are probably I love their movies, man, both of them for different reasons.
Very nice. Question number 8.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite movie character of all time?
Uh, it's funny. Oh man, to think back on all of the stuff we've talked about, and I'm pretty serious. I inward thinking, self-reflecting person and all that, but I related to the character so much in life and in general. Rudy. Like we
Oh,
talked about the movie,
yep.
but Rudy is, I think, as a character and a real person, I think that I've drawn a lot of inspiration from for myself.
Well, then I apologize for shit talking that movie earlier. That was my bad.
Oh no, it's great. It's great. That's part, I guess that's part of the underdog part of it, right?
Yeah, there you go. Question 9.
Yeah, man.
You're sitting down in the theater, in a movie
Yes.
theater at home. What's your favorite movie snack food?
Oh, come on, popcorn, dude. It's so easy, but like a good bucket of popcorn that like you would never in a normal situation eat an entire bucket of popcorn, but at a movie, you just continue to just mow down on a bucket of popcorn.
So if
It's
you pick a candy that goes along with that, what do you pick?
a candy? Uh well, so I love sugar candies. So probably Sour Patch Kids or Sweetest Fish. One of those. I'd eat way more of those than I probably should.
I support you on the Sour
Yes.
Patch Kids. All right.
Yes.
So, Lee, Steven
Yes.
Spielberg is producing the Tim Burton directed Leave a
Yes.
Doll movie.
This is gonna be great.
Who do you want cast as the star Leave a Doll?
Ooh. Well, I have my own IMDb page, so I'm an actor. No, it is no, no. I'm playing that out too much. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
No. So I actually had like we've talked about this just in general, like random questions and like serious answer. I
Yes.
think I've come to, and I was talking to Laura about this earlier, or not earlier, but a while ago. But Jake Gyllenhaal, I like that. I like how the movies he's made, and like he can be funny, but he's more of a serious like person, and he can have that resting bitch face, and I think get away with it. Uh, I can relate. So yeah, I think that's who I'd put there, and I think we're pretty close in age. So
I love that casting choice. I would be curious to see how Hollywood would handle a white guy getting cast as a Puerto Rican, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
hey, he's great.
So let's
Yeah.
let's take this casting a little bit farther. Steven Spielberg is producing the Tim Burton directed, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Lee Vidal story. Who are your BBH castmates? Who plays Jason? Who plays Joe?
Oh man. The easy answer would be because I keep talking about it, the 21 Jump Street cast. I mean like Channing, yeah, like come on now. Like Jason hit that on the head. He's already feeling it. And I actually think that that would be fantastic.
That would be an
I
amazing
think
cast. So
100%.
you've got Jonah Hill playing Joe, huh?
Yeah, of course. Come on now.
I mean, Jason is
Yes,
obviously Channing Tatum, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. That's oh
clearly.
oh wait,
Yes.
Spielberg would probably reverse that. He'd probably switch that around. So awesome,
Yes, man.
man! It has been a blast having you guys on talking about football. What? Yes.
I've got one last thing, and I was
Let's do
meant
it.
this. I was earlier is that on our Shane Talks Facebook page, I put up what is your favorite American football movie ever.
Oh, nice.
Anybody who wanted to vote could only vote for one, and they
Okay.
could add that they wanted to add to it.
Oh, let's hear about this.
So there is a 4-way tie for number one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, I apologize. That might have a lot more. I apologize. It's only showing me that has 6 votes. I apologize. So number one is Remember the Titans with 6 votes.
Okay. I could definitely buy that.
Coming in second is The Replacements
Fun movie.
with 4 votes. Coming in third, it looks like we are tied. We have a 3-way tie for third place, which is Any Given Sunday, Rudy, and The Longest Yard from 2005.
Wow. Did anybody vote for Varsity Blues?
We had 2 people vote for Varsity Blues.
Who are my 2 favorite people on the podcast?
And Matt McNear
Okay.
and Ryan Smith.
Okay. Thank you, Matt and Ryan. You guys are awesome. You picked the correct movie.
So and then we had Invisible, Gridiron Gang, The Program,
Oh.
1 vote each. So
I mentioned Gridiron Gang, but we didn't really address that one. But I remember that movie being okay. Gridiron Gang was all right.
about the Express, I never saw it. Apparently, the Jim Brown story, I never caught it.
No.
But yeah, apparently that was the only other one that popped into my brain as something that we might have talked about. But I never saw it, so I feel bad. But
Yeah, I never saw it either. You're all good. Man, Mark, Lee, thank you guys so much for joining us and chatting football movies, man. It was a blast catching up with you guys, spending time with you, having fun. It felt like the old Clearwater days, man. It felt, I don't know why Mark's thumb isn't going there. It goes. It felt like old Clearwater days hanging out with you guys, man.
Yeah, great times, man. I miss you guys.
Absolutely. Lee, really appreciate your time, man. I know you're busy. I know the fire station's got you. What do you do, like 4 days on, 2 days off or something crazy like that?
Yeah, 1 on, 2 off.
Well,
That's
okay.
a 24-hour shift. Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, I am sure that your time away is definitely valuable to you. So I appreciate you making time to hang out with us, man. It was a pleasure chatting and hanging out. And Jason's thing is different from. Oh boy, I have a bad feeling about where this is going in the future of Shane Talks.
we're good.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. Let's see. Next month will be November 1st. I will try to stay away from holiday stuff and come up with something that doesn't annoy Jason, and we'll get that figured out. I have an idea for what our December episode is going to be, not Christmas related, but I got an idea for the December episode to wrap up the year. But
You don't have. This is your show, bro. Like, if you want to do your holidays, do your holidays. I was just asking you to get up every now and then.
Yeah, and we'll
figure
out something.
Just violent Christmas movies.
Yeah, come on.
There we go.
Violent thing, that was for sure.
Yeah, we could definitely look at that.
Seasons, speed. See, I'm already in the spirit of all. Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. The holidays are coming up. We're gonna have a great couple of months. But yeah, we'll figure out something for November, and then, like I said, I've got a plan to wrap up 2023, and then looking forward to the next couple of episodes. But thank you guys for being on now. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate everybody's time.